Far beyond Earth, in the cold silence of deep space, there was a place where the fate of entire civilizations was decided. It was called the Galactic Council. A massive circular chamber floated in the dark, filled with glowing lights, strange symbols, and beings from hundreds of different worlds. Each alien species had its own seat. Some were tall and thin, with glowing eyes. Others were covered in metal shells. Some did not even have physical bodies, and appeared only as light or energy. But all of them shared one thing: power. Today, the chamber was louder than usual. Voices overlapped. Lights flickered. The air was tense. At the center of the chamber, a large holographic image appeared. It showed a small blue planet, Earth. A tall alien with silver skin raised its hand, and slowly, the noise in the chamber began to fade. Order, it said in a calm but firm voice. We are here to discuss the growing concern, humanity. A low murmur spread again. Another alien leaned forward. It had 4 eyes and a long neck. Humans are unstable, it said. They fight each other. They destroy their own world. They are emotional and unpredictable. A different voice joined in, sharp and cold. They are advancing too fast. Their technology is growing. Their curiosity has no limits. They are dangerous, someone added. The word echoed across the chamber. Dangerous. The silver-skinned leader looked at the image of Earth. Blue oceans, white clouds, green lands. It looked peaceful, but the council did not see peace. They saw risk. They have not yet reached us, the leader said slowly. But they will, and when they do, we may not be ready. A tall being made of pure light flickered brightly. We have seen species like this before. Small, weak at first, then suddenly unstoppable. Silence followed those words. The leader nodded. Then we must act now. The decision was made quickly. No long debate. No second thoughts. A message would be sent to Earth. Not a friendly one. Not a warning. A threat. On Earth, life continued as normal. Cars moved on busy roads. People walked in cities. Children played in parks. The sky was calm. No one knew that far above them, something had already begun. In a quiet control room, deep inside a hidden facility, a sudden alert appeared. A scientist looked at the screen, confused. Is this a signal? He whispered. Another person rushed over. It's not human, she said. It's coming from deep space. The room became tense. More people gathered. Screens lit up. Data started flowing. The signal was strong. Clear. Impossible to ignore. Decode it, the scientist said quickly. Seconds felt like hours. Then finally, the message appeared. Simple, direct, cold. You are a threat to galactic stability. Prepare for correction. No greeting. No explanation. Just a statement. And a warning. The room went silent. One man slowly sat down. This is not a joke, he said. No, the woman replied. It's real. The news spread quickly, but not to the public. Not yet. Leaders from different countries were informed. Emergency meetings were called. Military officials were alerted. The question was simple, but the answer was not. What should humanity do? Fight? Run? Hide? Or respond? Hours passed. In a secure room, a small group of people sat around a table. Scientists, leaders, strategists. Everyone looked serious. One general spoke first. We should prepare for war. We don't know their strength. Another person shook his head. We don't even know where they are. War is not an option yet. A scientist leaned forward. They called us a threat, but they don't know us. Silence. The room felt heavy. Then, an older man spoke. His voice was calm. What if we don't respond with fear? Everyone looked at him. What do you mean? Someone asked. He took a deep breath. What if we send something unexpected? The idea sounded strange, dangerous even, but also interesting. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the members waited. They expected panic. They expected chaos. They expected fear. But what they got was something else. A signal arrived from Earth. The entire chamber went quiet. Display it, the leader ordered. The message appeared. Short, simple, only 2 words. Thank you. For a moment, no one spoke. Then confusion spread across the chamber. What does this mean? One alien asked. Is this surrender? Another said. No, someone replied. This is not surrender. The silver-skinned leader stared at the message. Why would a threatened species say thank you? No one had an answer. On Earth, the decision had been made. No panic was shown to the world. People continued their daily lives. But behind the scenes, Things were changing. Satellites adjusted their positions. Hidden systems activated quietly. Scientists worked day and night, but there was no chaos. No fear in the streets. Only calm. Far away, inside the council chamber, the confusion was growing. A four-eyed alien spoke again. This is not normal behavior. Another added, they should be afraid. The being of light flickered rapidly. Or, they're not afraid at all. That idea sent a chill through the chamber. The leader narrowed its eyes. Send observers. It ordered, we need to understand them. Small drones were prepared. Silent. Invisible. Fast. They moved toward Earth. Days passed. The drones reached the planet. They watched. They recorded. They studied. And what they saw made no sense. Humans were not preparing for destruction. They were not hiding. They were not begging for help. They were living, laughing, working, creating. It was as if the threat meant nothing. One observer sent a report back. Humans show no signs of fear. Another message followed. Their behavior is stable. The council could not understand. Back on Earth, a young scientist looked at the stars. He knew something big was coming. But instead of fear, he felt something else. Hope. We've been through worse, he said quietly. Beside him, another person nodded. Yeah, we always find a way. In the Galactic Council, the leader stood in silence. The message from Earth still floated in the air. Thank you. It felt wrong. It felt dangerous. A slow realization began to form. Maybe humans were not reacting the way they expected because they were not weak, because they were not afraid, because they were waiting. The leader finally spoke. Prepare the fleet. The chamber froze. We will proceed with correction. But deep inside, something felt different this time. Something was not right. As the meeting ended, one quiet observer remained still. It had not spoken once. It had only watched, studied, understood, and now it whispered softly to itself. They are not afraid. A pause. Then, almost like a warning, they are ready. The drones moved through space like shadows. They made no sound. They left no trace. Even the most advanced human systems could not see them. They were designed by the Galactic Council to observe, not to fight. Their mission was simple. Watch Earth, learn everything, and report. From high above the planet, the drones began their work. They scanned cities, oceans, mountains, and skies. They watched humans from every angle, every movement, every reaction. At first, everything looked normal. Too normal. People walked through crowded streets. Lights filled the cities at night. Music played. Children laughed. Cars moved. Planes flew. There was no sign of panic. No fear. No chaos. One drone focused on a busy city. It zoomed in on a group of people sitting in a small cafe. They were talking, smiling, drinking something warm. The drone recorded their voices. Did you hear anything about that space signal? One person asked. Another shrugged. Just rumors. Probably fake. They laughed. The drone paused. It did not understand. More data came in. Across the world, the same pattern appeared. Humans were aware, but they were not reacting. Some governments had quietly increased security. Some scientists were working faster than ever. But the general population? Calm. Too calm. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the reports were being reviewed. A large screen displayed everything the drones were seeing. The four-eyed alien leaned forward. This is impossible, it said. They received a direct threat. Another voice responded, and yet no mass panic, no collapse. The being of light flickered slowly. They continue their lives as if nothing has changed. The silver-skinned leader watched in silence. Then it asked, are they hiding their fear? A pause. No, one observer replied. We see no biological signs of fear in most of them. Heart rates, behavior, all stable. That answer made the chamber uneasy. On Earth, deep inside a hidden research facility, something very different was happening. Behind locked doors and guarded halls, teams of scientists worked without rest. Screens showed complex patterns, unknown signals, advanced calculations. A young engineer stared at a moving graph. It's increasing again, she said. An older scientist nodded. They're watching us. She looked up. You mean the council? He shook his head slowly. No, they're machines. The humans knew, not everything, but enough. They knew they were being observed. They knew something was coming. And still, they did not panic. Instead, they prepared. Quietly, carefully, together. In another part of the world, A group of engineers stood around a large metallic structure. It was hidden underground, massive, complex, unlike anything ever built before. One of them ran his hand across its surface. "Is it ready?" he asked. Another replied, "Almost." A third voice added, "We still don't know if it will work." The first engineer smiled slightly. "It will." Back in space, the drones continued to watch. But now, they began to notice something new. Small changes, subtle movements, satellites shifting positions in unusual patterns, signals being sent between locations at strange times, energy spikes that lasted only seconds, then disappeared. The drones recorded everything and sent it back. The council chamber grew quieter with each new report. The confusion was turning into concern. "They are doing something," one alien said. "But what?" another asked. "They are not building weapons," a third added. "At least, not in a way we understand." The being of light dimmed slightly. That is what makes it dangerous. The silver-skinned leader stood up. Its voice was calm, but now there was tension behind it. "Explain." A pause. Then the being of light spoke again. "Humans are not reacting like prey." Silence. "They're reacting like hunters." Those words changed everything. The chamber became still. For the first time, fear touched the council. On Earth, the hidden work continued. A scientist looked at a screen filled with complex symbols. "They sent the threat," he said quietly, "and we sent the answer." Another scientist nodded. "They expected fear." He smiled faintly. "But we gave them curiosity." The drone zoomed in on a quiet park. A child was sitting on the grass, looking at the sky. "Do you think aliens are real?" the child asked. An older man sitting nearby smiled. "Maybe," he said. "Are they scary?" the child asked again. The man thought for a moment. "Not if we understand them." The drone recorded every word. Back in the council, the recordings were played. The chamber listened in silence. "This species," one alien whispered. "They do not think like us." More reports arrived. More strange patterns. More unknown signals. The drones began to lose track of certain activities. It was as if something was blocking them. "Interference detected," one report said. "Source unknown." The four-eyed alien reacted quickly. "That should not be possible." Another voice added, "Our drones are undetectable." The being of light flickered sharply. "Not anymore." The silver-skinned leader turned toward the main screen. "Show me everything." The images changed rapidly. Cities, oceans, mountains, then darkness. Several drone feeds went completely black. Lost. Gone. A wave of shock moved through the chamber. "What happened?" someone demanded. "No damage detected," an observer replied. "They simply disappeared." "Impossible," another said. The leader's voice cut through the noise. "Nothing is impossible." On Earth, inside the hidden facility, alarms flashed for a brief moment, then stopped. A technician looked at a screen. "One more is down," he said. The young engineer smiled slightly. "They're starting to notice." The humans were no longer just being watched. They were responding. Slowly, carefully, but clearly. Back in the council, tension reached a new level. "This changes everything," the four-eyed alien said. "They can interfere with our technology. And they're doing it without direct contact," another added. The being of light dimmed further. "They are learning faster than expected." The silver-skinned leader made a decision. "We cannot wait any longer." The chamber fell silent again. "The fleet will move forward." Far in deep space, a massive armada began to shift. Thousands of ships. Dark, powerful, silent. They moved as one. Toward Earth. On the blue planet. The sky still looked peaceful. But deep below, everything was ready. The large metallic structure began to glow softly. Energy flowed through it like a heartbeat. The engineers stepped back. "It's starting," one of them whispered. High above, the remaining drones continued to watch. But now they were being watched too. Back in the council chamber, a final message appeared. It came from Earth. Unexpected. Unplanned. Unexplained. The leader stared at it. Display. The message opened. Simple. Clear. And this time, different. "You finally noticed." The chamber froze. No one spoke. No one moved. Because now, they understood something they had not before. Humans were not confused. Humans were not weak. Humans were not afraid. They were aware. They were prepared. And they were already in the game. Far away, The silent observer watched once more. It had said very little, but now it spoke again, soft, almost like a warning. Their first message was not surrender. A pause. It was the beginning. The Galactic Council fleet moved through deep space like a silent storm. Thousands of ships. No lights. No signals. No warning sounds. Just movement. Perfect formation. Perfect control. This was not an army that rushed. This was an army that erased. Every civilization that had ever stood against them had fallen in hours, some in minutes. The Council did not believe in long wars. They believed in correction. And Earth was next. Inside the flagship of the fleet, the commander stood in a wide circular bridge. Holograms floated in the air. Earth was displayed at the center. A small blue world. Peaceful. Quiet. One commander spoke. This is a target. Another replied. Still no panic signals from the surface? No, came the answer. They are calm. A third officer frowned. That is not normal behavior for a species under threat. The fleet commander, a tall armored alien with a deep voice, spoke slowly. Then we will give him a reason to be afraid. On Earth, the sky remained blue. People went to work. Schools stayed open. Markets were busy. But under the surface of the planet, everything had changed. Deep underground, the hidden human systems were awake. Not activated. Not preparing. Already awake. In a massive underground command center, screens covered every wall. A woman stood at the center, watching satellite data. They've crossed the outer monitoring zone, she said. A man beside her replied, Fleet count? She didn't blink. Too many to count. Silence filled the room. Then another officer spoke. So it's time. The woman nodded. Yes, Phase 1. Far above Earth, the Council fleet began to slow. The ships positioned themselves around the planet. A perfect sphere of control. No escape routes. No blind spots. One commander smiled slightly. They are surrounded. The fleet leader gave a final order. Begin correction. On Earth, every screen in the world flickered at the same time. Televisions, phones, public displays. A symbol appeared. Unknown. Not human. The world stopped for a moment. People looked up at the sky. Something was happening, but still no panic. Only silence. Because deep inside them, something felt different. Like waiting for a storm that had already been studied. In space, the first strike began. Energy beams fired from the fleet. Not random. Not chaotic. Precise. They targeted military zones. Communication hubs. Strategic centers. From the Council's view, Earth would collapse in minutes. But something unexpected happened. The beams never reached the surface. They stopped, mid-air, frozen, like time itself had been cut. Inside the flagship, alarms triggered instantly. Impact failure. Energy absorption detected. What is happening? The commander stepped forward. Reroute power. Fire again. A second wave of attacks launched. Faster, stronger, more focused. But again, nothing reached Earth. On the planet, people still looked at the sky. No explosions were seen. No destruction. Just light above them, bending, stopping, disappearing. A child pointed upward. It looks like rain made of light, he said. His mother held his hand. It's okay, she whispered. I think we are safe. She didn't know why she said it, but she believed it. Inside the Council fleet, confusion turned into tension. This is not possible, one officer said. Something is interfering with our weapons, another added. The fleet commander's face darkened. Then we stopped holding back. The entire fleet changed formation. Now, thousands of ships aligned toward Earth's surface. Not beams, not small attacks. A full planetary strike. One coordinated pulse. Enough to break continents. Enough to end a world. The commander gave the order. Fire. The universe lit up. A massive wave of energy rushed toward Earth. Space itself seemed to bend. Even the stars looked in beside it. The Council believed nothing could survive this. But Earth did not react. Not with panic. Not with fear. Instead, something else happened. Deep underground, every hidden system activated at once. The metallic structure built across the planet's core began to glow brighter. Energy lines connected across continents. It was not a weapon in the normal sense. It was something older. Something designed for one purpose. Response. Above Earth, the incoming destruction wave stopped. Not slowed. Not weakened. Stopped. And then reversed. The energy turned back toward the fleet. A mirror in space. The commanders froze. What is that? Return fire. But there was nothing to return. The wave was already moving back at them. The fleet tried to scatter. Too late. The returning energy was not just power. It was control. It moved through formation like intelligence itself. Ships began to lose function. Systems shut down, one by one, without explosions, without sound, just silence. Inside the flagship, panic finally broke through discipline. We are losing ships. Our systems are being overridden. By what? No one had an answer. The commander stared at Earth. For the first time, uncertainty appeared in his eyes. This was not supposed to happen. On Earth, the underground command center remained calm. The woman at the center watched the data. No casualties, she said. A man beside her nodded. They are being contained. Another officer spoke softly. Do we continue? She paused, then answered. No, Phase 1 is complete. Above the planet, the Council fleet was breaking apart, not destroyed, controlled. Ships drifted powerless in space, their weapons offline, their systems locked. The massive armada that once looked unstoppable now floated like dead metal. The commander whispered, "We underestimated them." Suddenly, every remaining ship received a transmission. It came from Earth, the same source as before, but now stronger, clearer. The fleet leader opened it. A voice spoke. "Calm. Human, you came to correct us." A pause. "But you did not ask what we already were." Silence filled every ship. The voice continued. "We are not the first civilization to look at the stars." Another pause. "We are the first to answer them back." The council commander clenched his fists. "Who are you?" he demanded. For a moment, no reply. Then the final line came. Simple, cold, final. "You already know." The transmission ended. And in that moment, something changed inside the fleet. Not systems, not ships. Understanding. Slow, heavy, terrifying. The silent observer from the council finally spoke again. This time, not as a warning, but as truth. They did not resist us. A pause. They studied us first. And far below on Earth, the hidden structure dimmed slightly, not shutting down, waiting, because Phase 2 had not even begun. Space was silent, not the peaceful silence of calm stars, but the heavy silence of something that had just been stopped mid-action. The Galactic Council fleet drifted around Earth like broken shadows, thousands of ships, all alive, but all powerless. No explosions, no destruction, just control and humiliation. Inside the flagship, the atmosphere had changed completely. The bridge that once held confidence now held silence. Officers stood still, staring at their dead systems. One of them spoke quietly. "We are not moving." Another tried again. Weapons offline. A third voice, shaking slightly. Communication locked. The fleet commander stood in front of the Earth hologram. His eyes did not move. For the first time in his entire life, he had no command. No answer, no plan. Below him, Earth remained unchanged. Blue oceans, white clouds, green land, still calm, still alive, as if nothing had happened above them. That was the most disturbing part. In the Galactic Council chamber, far away, the leaders watched the live feed. The great chamber that once felt like absolute authority now felt smaller, tighter, heavier. The silver-skinned leader slowly leaned forward. "This is impossible," he said again. But this time, no one responded, because everyone already knew. Impossible had already happened. A report came in from the fleet, a broken transmission. "We are contained." Only 3 words. Then silence. The being of light flickered weakly. It was not destruction, it said slowly. It was control. The 4-eyed alien replied, almost whispering. "They turned our entire fleet into a cage." No one argued. No one denied it. Because it was true. On Earth, deep underground, the human command center was calm. No celebration. No shouting. No fear. Just work. The woman at the center looked at the screens. "Fleet status?" A technician answered, fully immobilized. Another added, "No casualties confirmed on either side." She nodded. "Good." That single word carried no emotion, just completion. A young officer nearby finally spoke. "Should we finish it?" The room went quiet for a moment. Everyone understood what "finish it" meant. The woman turned slightly. "No." The officer frowned. "Why not?" She looked at the data again, then answered, because they already learned. A pause. And that was the point. Above Earth, the fleet commander finally spoke into the silence. Not to his crew, but to Earth. A direct open channel. This is not war, he said. His voice was lower now. Less confident. More human than before. This is correction. A pause. Then his voice cracked slightly. And you stopped us. The reply came instantly. No delay. No hesitation. A human voice. Calm. Clear. We did not stop you. The commander's eyes narrowed. Then what did you do? A pause followed. Then the answer came. We showed you a mirror. Inside the council chamber, the leaders leaned forward. The silver-skinned leader whispered, "A mirror?" The being of light flickered again. They reflected our own systems back at us. Silence. Then realization began spreading. Slow, heavy, unwanted. The transmission from Earth continued. You came here expecting fear. A pause. We studied fear long ago. Another pause. And we stopped using it. The fleet commander clenched his fists. That makes no sense, he said. You are biological. You are limited. The human voice replied instantly. Correct. Another pause. That is why we learn faster. In the council chamber, the four-eyed alien stepped back. This species adapts instead of breaks. Another officer added. They do not resist pressure. They evolve with it. The chamber felt colder. Because that was not weakness. That was survival perfected. Above Earth, the immobilized fleet began to experience something new. Not damage. Not attack. Understanding. Data was being transmitted into their systems. Not hacked. Not forced. Inserted. Every ship began receiving information. Human history. Human wars. Human disasters. Human recovery. Everything. The commander watched it silently. What is this? He asked. No one answered. Because the answer was already appearing on his screen. It was a record of Earth's past and its pattern. The voice from Earth returned. Quieter now. Less formal. More real. You thought we were a threat. A pause. We were never the threat. Another pause. We were the result. Inside the council chamber, the leader finally spoke. What does that mean? The answer came from Earth immediately. You only saw us at the end. A pause. You never saw what built us. The fleet commander closed his eyes for a moment, and for the first time, he listened, really listened, not as a soldier, not as a commander, but as something smaller, something learning. The human voice continued. We fought wars before your civilizations formed. We rebuilt after extinction events you cannot measure. We survived without guidance. A pause, and we learned one rule. Silence. Then the final line came. If something threatens us, it becomes part of us. The council chamber fell completely silent. No arguments. No theories. No resistance. Just understanding forming too late. The being of light flickered one last time. They do not see enemies, it said softly. They see lessons. On Earth, the underground system slowly powered down. Not shutting off. Just resting. The woman at the center finally spoke. Phase 1 is complete. A technician asked softly. And Phase 2? She looked up. A faint reflection of the stars appeared on the screen. We don't need Phase 2. A pause. Not yet. Above Earth, the fleet commander sent one final message. Not an order, not a threat, but a question. What are you? The response came slower this time, as if Earth was choosing its words carefully. Then it arrived. Simple. Final. Human. We are what remains when fear stops working. Silence. Across the fleet. Across the council. Across the stars. No one spoke, because now they understood the true meaning of the first message. Thank you. It was not gratitude. It was recognition. For forcing evolution. For forcing unity. For forcing awakening. The silent observer in the council chamber spoke one last time. Not as warning. Not as fear. But as truth. They thought they sent a threat. A pause. But they delivered a beginning. Far away, Earth continued to rotate. Quiet. Patient. Ready. Not as a victim, not as a conqueror, but as something far older than both. Something that had already learned the galaxy's language and answered it without fear. End of story.